Hey everyone, good evening. It's about 8:20 p.m. on Friday evening Eastern Time. I'd like to do a real quick end of the week recap over a few different markets. Of course, as always, I'm going to be doing the S&P. I'm going to be doing Nasdaq. I'm also going to take a look at Bitcoin. I do want to take a look at Google because that is a trade that we are currently actively very involved in. Before I get into any of this, of course, as you all know, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. You're responsible for your own trades, managing your own risk, doing your own research. I'm just giving my opinion on the market as always. I'm going to go ahead and pull into the live scene here. Before I get into all of this, I just want to point out that over the last 2 weeks since the 17th, we have closed out 27 trades. Is 27 right? We have lost on 3 trades. But as of recent times, we closed one trade a couple days ago with 5.74%, another one 10.38%, 8%, 13%, 5, 4, 10, a loss of 3.92, a positive 4, 12, 7, 8, 10, a couple more losses, about 3.5%, a 6%, and then a 1.31%. All in all, May has been very good to us for a number of reasons. So let's just go ahead and take a look here at the charts. And I did a video. It was about a week ago. I think it was last Thursday potentially. I said at the time that we're going to be going higher. We are going to be going higher. And so it was about the 20th of it was the 19th or the 20th of May. So we were all the way down here, and I said, yeah, we're going to be going up. We're going to be moving higher. And so far, that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been moving up. I'm looking at the S&P on an hourly time frame. I don't see, serious signs of bearish divergence here. I'm just kind of taking a look here at this, and I think what a lot of people are going to gravitate towards are the fact that this could potentially look like we have kind of like a higher high, just barely, but it also looks to me like, we could be having a little bit of this going on and potentially a breakdown. But I don't think that's in the cards yet. I think we could pull down a little bit, but I'm not too overly concerned. And again, I'm looking at this as an index, and you really have to pay attention to the underlying stocks here as well. Let's take a look at the ES chart, which again, we've been watching this guy as well. And I do believe that we have a nice confluence here for a completion of a correction. So that would put us down here at wave 4, and then off of wave 4, a nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C right here. So we've got a nice 1, 2. Our upside target it's going to be up here at 4,300. And I do believe that's in the cards. If you take a look at the ES, we had a drop at the end of the day. But, I mean, heck, look, this is nothing, right? This is not a significant correction. I have no reason to be bearish. Now, what was an important level to hold? It was this level right here. This was a very important level to hold right here. Why was this level important? I always say look left. Okay, so let's do that. Let's look left. We have resistance here, and here. Clustered support here that failed. Resistance here, clustered support that failed. And I'm sure I could look left some more, find even more reasons why this is important, right? We had support here, clustering right here. Here is significant resistance for us. I'm not going to go back further. This level that we retested is important. And by the way, this doesn't look terrible yet. And that is me being optimistic. I am being optimistic here. I am an optimist on the market, at least for the short term. And when I say the short term, I mean the next 2 weeks, maybe less. Okay? Because I do think that we are close to a more extravagant correction. I do believe that we are going to have a little bit of a more serious correction. Harry, I will absolutely take a look at Ethereum. I do have some thoughts on Ethereum, and I'd love to talk through those. So hang tight. I will definitely do that. So do I think that we are done going up? No, I still think that we're going to see over the next 2 weeks. I do think we're going to see higher prices. Now, that doesn't mean that beginning of next week we're going to see a pullback. It would not surprise me to come back down here and retest this level. It wouldn't surprise me one bit. But I don't think that we are done going up, at least over the next 2 weeks. And I'm talking in terms of weeks, not days, not hours, not minutes. Within the next 2 weeks, I do believe that we're going to go make some all-time highs. I think the same can be said for Nasdaq, which we are bullish on Nasdaq. Okay, I had laid this out a while back that we were either going to reject here and go down, or we were going to push through, and that's exactly what we did. We pushed through this level right here, which is actually right about where we rejected, and this was taken off of higher time frame candles. I was looking at this, if I remember correctly, on a daily candle, looking at this clustering here, looking at this support. Kind of looks a little bit like resistance. We definitely had some resistance here, and we just pushed up against it. Now, keep in mind, this is really the second time that we tested this. The first time this was tested after we fell through was right here. And now here we are. We are testing it again. And I do believe that we are going to see, again, higher prices on Nasdaq. We are in a bullish spread on Nasdaq right now. So this is what I believe is going on with Nasdaq. So again, from the lows here, let me get rid of this channel. This channel is not as important as it once was, but this trend-based fib extension tool is. I'm going to get rid of some of the indicators. I'm just going to take a look at this current trend, because this current trend is telling a story. And it follows in line very closely with what some stocks are looking like. So from the lows, we've got a nice 1, A, B, C. Did not violate these lows over here. Wave 3 is going to be up here. We're going to do a little bit of a pullback again, but then we are going to see higher prices. And I believe that it is very possible that we go back to all-time highs. So we're going to be looking for new highs here. So, you know, we've got bullish spreads on the Qs, bullish spreads on NDX. We do NDX because of the tax situation. We're doing a combination of short and long-term capital gains tax, Section 1256 tax treatment. You know, get familiar with that, especially if you've got larger accounts. Get familiar with that, because that's a good way for you to reduce your tax liability. I am not a tax advisor, but I am an educated taxpayer, and so I always look to reduce my tax liability. Section 1256 tax treatment. Look it up. It is available on almost all indexes, NDX, SPX, RTY. It's there, and you should be taking advantage of it. You can't do it if you're on Robinhood. You got to be on a real broker that gives you access to trade those indexes. Anyway, I see higher prices on the Qs. I see it. It's a high degree of possibility, high degree of probability we're going to get to the 1618 to the 175. Let me throw the 175 on there, because if you haven't, you should go back and just look for it. Look for my Algo City video where we talk in depth about the 175. So right up here at about 13,900, I would expect there to be some significant resistance. Okay, so more than likely, we are going to see a little bit of a move up here before we see a little bit of a pullback, an ABC pullback, and then we're going to see that last move up to wave 5. Now, where is that wave 5 going to go? We don't really quite know that yet. We're going to have to wait and see, but one thing does kind of show up for me is we're going to see higher prices. With this one, too, the fact that we broke through, and again, you guys, I've talked about this also, use the tools. This is me just handing out educational material for you. Trend-based fib extension, dominant pivot low, dominant pivot high, pullback to another dominant pivot low. You've got 3 targets for a correction. The 618, the 100, the 123.6. Well, what happened? We blew through all 3 of those. The 618 blew through it. The 100, we had some resistance as expected, but we went above it, which means we should be going to the 123.6. We did a pullback, and guess what? We blew through the 123.6, and it was support, and it's grinding up. I think, again, we're going to see a thrust up to maybe 13.9. We're going to get a little bit of a correction, and then we're going to see that target go up even higher. Technically speaking, that target is the 2618. Let me throw the 2618 on here, because that's going to be our target right here. The target is, technically speaking, 14,350 right on the nose. It's sitting there. It's waiting. We might not get there. We might get a truncated fifth, but what I can say is, based on what we've got so far, I think we're going to see higher prices. Apologies if you're waiting on crypto. I'm going to get to it here in just a second. But I want to take a look at Google, because we are in a pretty decent trade on Google. We had a put credit spread that we closed. We closed our put credit spread, and we closed that a few days ago. So we had a credit of like 16 bucks, and we closed it out for $3 a couple days ago. It was right around up here before we had the big red candle yesterday and the big red candle today. Okay, so this so far is working very nicely. So I drew this out when we were right here. So this was the 21st. Okay, and I said, we might get a little bit of a pullback, but we're going to see higher prices. Okay, very similar to what I'm saying right now about the regular stock market. There's a heck of a lot of people that are just rushing to short. And guys, we are in the middle of one of the biggest bull markets that we've seen in a long time. And everybody is just really just trying to short it left and right. There will be a time, there will be a place, but darn it, you got to be patient. You've got to be patient. Wait for some confirmation. Are you trying to scalp shorts? Or are you really looking for that March 2020 short? Those days are really gone. I think that what's going to happen after mid-June, when we do finally start that correction, I don't think it's going to be deep. I think it's going to be chop. Because I'll tell you what, everybody is just looking to get that big short, and it's not going to come. And the market makers, the ones that are selling the options, they're going to be the ones that are going to want to benefit from theta. And so in my opinion, this correction that we're going to have on the market is not going to be as devastating as people say it's going to be. Okay, so let's take a look at this. All right, let's just take a look at this. Now, obviously, things have happened since I drew this out. And this is a different chart from what I shared on the Discord. But basically from down here, I count a 1, 2, 3, because from down here you can get a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C down here into the 4. We could be seeing a little bit further down, and then we get this 5 right up here. Let me pull this over, because this is where I think we are now. I think we push this out just a little bit. I think we're going to get, a little bit of a drop here potentially on Tuesday. I don't think it's going to be significant. I mean, if it is, then then it is. It happens. But one way or another, I still think we're going to make our way up here to 24.20, 24.30. I'd love to see 24.50. And then I think we're going to consolidate here for a little bit before we explode higher. Honestly, the bullish spread that we're in Google, I will probably exit that completely when we come back up here and retest this high, which is that 175. If we get up here, more than likely, I'm going to close that position out. I'm going to walk away from it. But it looks pretty good. This chart looks pretty healthy. We've got a nice A, B, C. I mean, look at this. You've got a 1, 2. Really can't. Maybe just an A, B, C on this. 3, 3, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 3, 5 down here to finish this correction. But so far, this has been a nice move up, a nice impulsive move to the upside. It's pretty clean. You have to agree. From this low, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that wave 1. You can't tell me that that does not look like a clean impulse, because it does. And then from this 2, right? Even from here, 1, 2, 3, and this 3, a nice little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the 3, A, B, C, down here into the 4, I think again potentially down a little bit, and then we go up for the 5, which finishes wave 3. This is why I think Nasdaq sees higher prices. This is why S&P likely is going to see higher prices. There are some weak names out there. Apple really surprised me. Apple surprised me. I was kind of expecting it to hold 127 this week. It didn't happen. So, we exited that trade. We took a loss on the Apple spread a little bit. But, in the grand scheme of things, most of the trades have been very profitable. And all of our open trades, which we have plenty open trades right now, they're all doing good. I think only 1 or 2 of them is at a minimal loss right now, less than 1% loss on the trades that we have open, but most of them are multiple percent in the plus side right now. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at Bitcoin. BTC USD, taking a look at it on Bitstamp. So what this chart looks like to me, there's 2 things, and I'm going to clear this chart completely because I've been using actually a different chart layout. I'm going to go to a 4-hour here. So there's a couple things here. First off, what a lot of people have been talking about is this, where we've got basically your left shoulder, you've got your head, and then you've got your right shoulder. Everybody's talking about this. Well, now what do we have? We've got this shoulder and a new shoulder that's forming over here. This is our secondary. We'll call it the red head and shoulders. Now, how do you play a head and shoulders? Well, you basically short or long on a break of the neckline. In this particular case, that neckline looked a little bit like this. We broke it here, and then this would have been the time to short if you are playing a head and shoulders play. Now, right now it's a little different. Your neckline right now is basically right here. Okay? So you wouldn't short unless we came back down here at 31,000 and broke 31,000. If we break 31,000, that is, honestly, that's a recipe for disaster if that happens. I can get on a log scale and it won't look near as bad, but it's still not great. It's still not great. What I think is actually going on here is we are in the middle of a WXYXZ, and I think what's happening here, let me go down to an hourly, and let's just take a look at this. There are 2 scenarios that are in the works right now. Okay, the first thing, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but let me just point this out. I'm going to put a fib channel on this. This point right here, going left, about like this. And then let's go ahead and pull this guy down here. And we're going to put him right there. Okay? So what do we see here? Well, we see significant support here. Resistance here, support here. Same thing here. We had support here. Let's go left. We have support here. This channel may seem insignificant, but it is very, very significant. Here, support. Here, resistance. All along the road, we have seen resistance breakthrough, and it's been an important channel throughout most of this price action, and we bounced off of it just now. So we bounced off of it, 3 or 4 hours ago. So this looks okay for potentially more upside. Let's just take a look. Again, I'm going to clear this off again. I'm going to do a couple things here. I'm going to take my trend-based fib extension. I'm going to go from this dominant pivot low. This is an important dominant pivot. This right here is an important dominant pivot. We had a pullback. So what did we have off of this? Well, we broke through the 618. which leads me to believe it's very, very possible that we go up to 45, 44, 5, 45, somewhere in this vicinity. That algo target is going to be sitting there. It's going to be waiting. So you have to pay attention to that. The next thing, I'm going to take a fib retracement from this dominant pivot low to this dominant pivot high. We did not get to the 618, but we might get to the 618. 34,520 is an area I would be interested in trying to go long. 618 to the 65, that golden zone. Everybody talks about the golden zone, so let's put the 0.65 on there. This area right here, this little pocket, if we do happen to find ourselves down in here, right? So if we do find ourselves coming down here, I would look for this. Again, that negative 236 is sitting up there. So we talk about 618 pullbacks all the time. And Cardinal, this is for you. This is a 618 pullback. If you're looking to scalp a trade on Bitcoin, it would be this one, because this is going to be a 618 pullback. If it fails, if it goes and closes an hourly on the other side of the 65, close out that long position. But we're looking for this, again, there's a high probability that we're actually going to be seeing higher prices. Let's take a look at the oscillator here. Waves indicator is signaling a buy, and it's the second buy signal that we've gotten. We had one here and we had one here. But what's the big difference? Well, we had a lower low on the price here. But what did we have on our hourly indicator? A higher high on the wave, and the 3 hour is now starting to move bullish as well. So this leads me to believe that we potentially are going to see a move down to the golden zone. Let me get off of log and go on to linear. If you go to linear, it hit the golden zone. It actually hit it already. So we might not see that next low. So sometimes you do have to go off of log and go into linear. But it looks good for more upside. Now, wouldn't that be funny if all these people have just been so anxious to short? I'm sure short interest is pretty high right now. Wouldn't it be so funny to see the price of Bitcoin go all the way up to like $44,000? $44,000 would be fantastic. I would be interested in shorting at 44,000 because I still believe that this is the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, C. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And then going down for 5. Where is 5 going to go? Well, so far, my target to the downside is going to be somewhere between 25 and 27. I haven't fully decided on that just quite yet. But one way or another, it would be very interesting to see Bitcoin go up to 44,000. I would be interested in shorting in that area. But right now, I don't have any reason to be extremely bearish. I don't have a reason to be extremely bearish, so therefore I'm not going to be. Oscillator is saying that this is a decent time to be buying. The only thing I don't like is the 12-hour is curling down a little bit. But that could easily, if we do see some upward thrust, that could curl up just a little bit, and that would be enough to see higher prices. Again, based on this analysis, it's very possible Bitcoin sees 44,000 in the next 2 weeks. Very similar to the stock market. Okay, so let's take a look at Ethereum. What is Ethereum going to do in the meantime? Well, I think Ethereum is very, very similar. We have a dominant pivot low, dominant pivot high, and how far are we pulling back on this? Probably not to the 618. It looks like it's more like the 50. And would you look at that? So I tried to tag that as close as I could, try to tag that as close as I could, and take a look at this. This is the 50 right here. We're off by, what, $10? We go from 23.25, 23.23. So really, we're off by like $3 or $4. It was so close to hitting that 50. Now, hitting the 50 over a 618 is actually a sign of strength in my eyes. So what's the upside target for this? Again, what do we use? I wish I could talk to you guys in real time and ask you these questions to see if you know the answers. Trend-based fib extension, dominant pivot low, dominant pivot high. Here's our current pullback. Now, Very possible we come down here to the 618, but right now we're sitting right here, right near the 50. Upside target, 3,500. Of course, we have to push through 3,000, which actually that 618 target is going to be sitting there about 3060. Next target is going to be 3,200, but really that 100% is going to be sitting there at 3,500. $3,500 before we move down lower. And I do think, again, if Bitcoin does, if Bitcoin does make that move down, Ethereum is going to make that move down as well, where I think it's possible we could see Ethereum back at like $1,200 to $1,500. Here's $1,400. This would be the target to the downside. Intermediate target was 1405. So if we do just move straight down, we'd hit 1405. If we go all the way up here, which, I mean, that would make a lot of sense if we did hit that target, we would be seeing this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C, right? So let's say in a perfect world, that's what happens. I'm going to put it over here. So we've got 5, and then again, A, B, C to the 100. And then we're going to be looking for that 100% to the downside. I'm going to go on log scale here, and right there. So we're looking at $1,400. $1,400 for Ethereum. Don't tell me it's not possible. Don't tell me it's not possible. When we were up in the 50,000s, people didn't think we were going to go down to 30, but here we are. We're in the 30s right now. We were at 60 just a couple weeks ago. It's hard to believe. But this is crypto. If you can't handle the extreme volatility, then you need to stick with stocks. You need to stick with stocks. And not penny stocks, because that's the same thing as crypto. Okay? So ultimately, I am somewhat bullish on Ethereum. Again, to see this guy go up to, let me get off of log here, target to the upside again, we've got the 618, which is at 3,000. We've got 3,200, and then ultimately 3,500. At 3,500, I'd be interested in selling it all and looking to accumulate down in that $1,400-$1,500 range. Because again, I think that's where it's possible that we go here. It's very possible. Let's see here. All right. Well, I don't have any other requests on the YouTube. I hope this was helpful. If this video did help you in any way, shape, or form, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. And of course, wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a good day, a good night, and a good evening. Take care, everyone.